Hey guys, welcome back to my channel again. This is Mayur Zadhav and we have Aisha, which is friend of mine. She's friend of mine, and today guys, as you must have read the title already, we are going to test the camera of this phone, that is iPhone 14 Pro, and I will going to share you my experience guys. Like, I have been using this phone for 8 months now, and I will going to show you some of the good things and some of the not so good things about this phone. Also, it is August, and probably in next month, or in first or second week, Apple is going to launch their new iPhone 15. So whether it is best to consider this iPhone 14 in 2023 and 2024, so I will going to discuss that as well. So basically we are going to try the only camera specifications of this phone in this video. So yep, without wasting any time guys, let's get started.
So let's get started with the video specifications first. So the iPhone 14 Pro has one 48 megapixel main camera, which was a huge upgrade from the previous models, and one ultra wide and one telephoto, both of them having 12 megapixel sensor. So let's begin with the sample footages taken with the 48 megapixel main camera. So all the videos here are shot in 4K 60 fps and slowed down to 60%. So straight away you will be impressed by the amount of detail it captures. The new 48 megapixel sensor does pretty great job to get you some crisp sharp footages, and also the dynamic range it offers is the best you can get in any other smartphones available in the market. So you will definitely going to enjoy the post-processing these high quality videos. Here are some other samples in different lighting conditions as well, so you can see how it is able to handle the highlights and shadows pretty well in the sunset as well. So personally, I am really impressed by the performance of this main camera guys, that is 48 megapixel, which is 65% larger than the previous models. Here are some other examples in the low light, and trust me guys, like, I have never seen this kind of clarity and detailed video being captured in the dark by any other smartphones in the market. You can clearly see the clouds behind the buildings and the sharpness is just insane. You will hardly notice any grains and noise in the video as well, so Apple has done pretty great job in the low light performance section. It is more likely that the Apple will going to stick with this new 48 megapixel as their primary lens, so I'm not expecting any huge upgrades in the main camera section in iPhone 15. Also, the new sensor shift video stabilization, which was already great in iPhone 13 and 13 Pro, has now been improved bit more. You will hardly going to notice any shakiness in the video even if you are an amateur videographer.
ये जो इतना हिल रहा है फोन, उसका क्या? फोन इतना हिला है, उसका क्या?
Now let's look at the samples from the ultra wide angle lens. The ultra wide angle lens also produces excellent results with the little distortion, though it struggles a little in very low light situations, but you will get your work done. Definitely it is also the best wide angle lens in the market in terms of videos, but you will not see any compromission made in detailing and sharpness. And here are some examples of the telephoto lens, which also has the 12 megapixel sensor. Detail wise, we can see quite easily that it is an incredible leap on the previous iPhones, including iPhone 13 Pro. The 3x zoom factor, that is 77mm for a full frame camera equivalent lens focal length, it is a bit extreme, and it is by far my favorite camera on this iPhone 14 Pro. The dedicated telephoto lens always provides you with the compressed natural looking background, and obviously it is an optical zoom and not the digital one, though the sensor hasn't changed much from the 13 Pro model, but the focal length has gone up to the 77mm from 55mm from the iPhone 13 Pro. Footages are great from any other smartphone standards. The autofocus also works just perfect with the 100% accuracy even in the low light situations. Now let's talk about the most popular mode the iPhone has recently introduced from the iPhone 13 series, that is the cinematic mode. The cinematic mode also have improved a lot in 14 Pro series. You can now record up to 4K 30 fps, and earlier it was just 180p 30 fps, that is full HD in iPhone 13. When you shoot using this 23mm main lens, you will get some great natural looking background blur in the videos at aperture 3.5 and 5.6. But if you switch it to the telephoto lens, that is 77mm lens, then you will have to increase your f-stop to around 5 to 8 to get that natural looking blur. Otherwise it will going to miss out the edges, and it will of course look an artificial blur, that is the fake blur. The cinematic mode does pretty great job actually focusing the subject. It has got an auto tracking which works just perfectly fine. Or the one thing I really liked about this feature is you can actually shift the focus in the post-processing, that is after the video being recorded. The built-in editing feature available in the phone is great for shifting the focus, and also it can increase or decrease the background blur as well. Even if you miss the focus in recording, you will always have the option to correct it in the post-processing. Now these were the best things about all the 3 cameras on this device in terms of videos, and now let's just talk about the drawbacks as well. The one major con I found in the camera section in terms of video is the buzzing and flickering sound which regularly occurs, especially while using the telephoto lens. Let me just show you the vibration it gets, and also the buzzing sound in the background you can clearly hear. And initially I thought that this is happening with my phone only, but after I researched and I found out that it has been a great issue on every other iPhone 14 Pro out there. I found on the Google that the distortion and the vibration is most likely to being caused by the camera's optical image stabilization gyroscope, which when working normally corrects for shaking hand and the motion, so that the camera can take in bit more light without taking blurry images. You really cannot expect from the brand like Apple to have this kind of serious issue in their camera hardware, guys. And even after spending 1,50,000 rupees on this device, and this is just nightmare to face these kind of issues, and it is very disappointing, guys. Though earlier it used to happen with all the lenses, but after recent updates it has been occurring to telephoto lens only. So I am expecting from the Apple that they will going to fix the issue in the future updates, so let's just hope for the best. Other than this issue, I didn't see any other major cons in the video capabilities. As I said, it's the best camera the Apple has ever produced, and though the exposure control could have been slightly better, it overexposes sometimes, and you can clearly see in these shots the skin tones are slightly washed out. Now let's just talk about the photo capturing capabilities of this phone. The major upgrade in the camera system was the introduction of the Pro RAW mode. So here we are testing the new 48 megapixel main camera first, and let's just zoom into the picture and you can see the clearly details, the amount of details it captured while shooting in RAW. While shooting in Pro RAW mode, guys, you will have to do the post-processing work to get the best out of your RAW photos. Otherwise your photos will going to look dull, and even if you have just basic knowledge of the editing, you will going to enjoy the post-processing in the Lightroom and other editing apps. The purpose of the raw photos is to preserve as much as details in the image so that you can bring it back while post-processing. So let me just show you the size of these raw photos, guys, that you will get the idea the amount of detail it captures. So here you can see this photo alone is having the size around 111 MBs, like it's well over 100 MB, and you will be able to pull out the details from the shadows and the highlights very easily in the post-processing because of the amount of detail it captures. So guys, if you don't have any basic knowledge of the photo editing and the post-processing, then I will suggest you to capture it in the normal JPEG mode. Just turn off the raw mode and you will be good to go. Here are the 3 samples clicked by 3 different lenses, the ultra-wide, main lens and the telephoto lens. So these are straight out of the camera and without any editing. So clearly the telephoto lens, which has around 6x optical zoom, does the great job here. But here is another example of how far it can zoom. At 10x zoom you will get decent picture quality, though it's not the greatest quality out there in the market as far as telephoto lens concerned, but the wide angle lens captures with great dynamic range and the details as well. Here are some other examples from the ultra wide angle. Now let's see how it performs in the night, and clearly you will be amazed by the clear image quality in a low light as well, and also the spread of the lights is well managed over here. Now let's test the portrait mode here, and it is my favorite mode actually, and I really enjoy shooting with the portrait mode combined with the telephoto lens, which gives you the results no less than a professional DSLR camera. Also the edge detection just works fine here, and just like videos, you can shift and adjust the amount of blurriness in the photos in the post-processing as well. Now there are some issues in the photo capturing capabilities as well. The major issue is the auto processing. When you click an image, especially JPEG image, that it is without RAW mode turned on, For a fraction of a second, when viewing your picture, you will see the image as it is, but then it will start processing automatically, and like there will be some over sharpening. And seriously guys, you don't want that things happening to your photos. Like you do not have any control over this auto post processing, and you cannot even turn it off. So you can see clearly here over sharpening has been done, and I did the research on this too, and I found that this has been the issue since the launch of the iPhone 13, and the auto processing just makes this image over sharpened and oversaturated sometimes. And the only solution is that you have to spend some time after clicking in the editing to bring that sharpening under control. So this is another major issue you have with this device guys, and it is really quite disappointing. I hope that the Apple will going to fix this issue in upcoming updates. So let's just hope for the best. That was my experience guys using this iPhone for last 8 months, and I don't think that there will be a major update in the iPhone 15 series in the terms of the camera hardwares, especially after introduction of that new largest sensor, the 48 megapixel sensor. Apple is surely going to keep that as it is in their next few models.
So that's it for today guys. Hope you found this video helpful, and if you do, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and we will probably meet in the next video guys. Thank you so much. Bye from Aisha as well, who has been a great model today.